All right, so I saw this question on Facebook, which was posted by Echelon Front, which is run by Jocko Willing and Leif Babin, basically asking how a leader can get their employees more involved by asking questions instead of giving them the answers. So this is something that I've done a lot in the past, especially because to help growth and development of employees or personnel, I've found, especially working in the oil field, that there are quite a few people that would rather come to you for quick solutions instead of trying to find something out for themselves. I kind of had more of a look where I would go out there and help an employee troubleshoot and find stuff out quite often, but that was more along the lines of them not being comfortable doing it on their own. So after a couple times of doing that, I would begin asking questions of what their process was, what they were looking at. Have they actually researched or figured out what was causing the problems and what their solutions were? So if they had not looked into it and had not tried to resolve the problem on themselves or by themselves and wanted a quick fix and a quick answer, I made them go back out and do it and then come back to me and figure out what their solutions to it were. A lot of times they were able to do it, and they realized that they had the capability of being able to assess on a piece of equipment or assess a situation and come to a conclusion on their own. Once they did, they would come to me with the solutions instead of just the problems. They would address it, and their confidence level rose. And being that their confidence level rose and they showed me their ability to manage and lead a situation, often resulted in that person being able to move up to different roles and develop themselves in different ways. Also, working with people, trying to get them to see a situation and what their actions would be. So where we would do job safety meetings before a specific job would take place, whether it was a simple two-step job or a more complicated, time-consuming venture, I would often have them come to me and tell me how they were going to do it. They would say, hey, how do you want this done? Where do you want us to be? That's a good thing sometimes, depending on the situation and the risk level, but also asking them questions and getting their input. Employees, no matter who they are more inclined to do the job, to do it correctly, do it safely, and have more ownership and accountability of a job if they have thought about how to do it. They've come up with the way of doing it, and at that point, it's theirs. It's no longer my job, it's their job. And if it's approved and it's safe and it's productive and efficient, they end up following it to a T a lot better, instead of just being told how to do it. Because obviously the consequences at the end, if it wasn't right, if it didn't go right, there was situations that had to be dealt with at that point. But as a leader, I took ownership of their successes and failures. Well, not their successes, but as a leader, I took ownership of the failures that occurred after I approved their design or how they wanted to do it. And if it was successful, they got 100% of the credit for it because it was theirs and that's what they did, and they worked hard at doing it. So as somebody that comes to you with problems and problems looking for solutions, ask them those questions. Ask them how they would do it, how they would address a situation. Have they done anything to solve or develop themselves in that situation in the past? Find out what they know, because if they take ownership of it and they control the situation and they're given a little bit of the reins sometimes, with some oversight, depending on the risk level and depending on what the outcome could possibly be, they're going to grow, the team is going to grow, and you're going to have a lot more success as a unified group in the end. So don't always give people the solutions. Let them come up with it on their own.